So, National University gave us this list of resources that are digital resources and asked me to identify one of them that I could use as a digital tool for formative assessments. And it has to be something I haven't used. At first, this was a little difficult for me because I use so many digital resources. As I was going down the list, it was like, yes, I've used that. Yes, I've used that. Yes, I've used that. We use a hybrid flipped classroom model of teaching in my classroom where students use their Chromebooks and we provide video lessons, and there's a lot of, Google Classroom, Google Docs. We use, back channeling. There's a lot of digital stuff going on. And so finding a resource I haven't used before was at first a little daunting. However, as I went through, I found one called edpuzzle, and I had never seen it before. I've never used it. So I clicked on that, and as I first started reading, I thought it was just another video platform, which was discouraging because I use videos already, and I just upload them to YouTube and then send it to the students that way. However, as I got more deep into edpuzzle, what I saw was that it's a way to not just make videos, but to create videos that are interactive. And this was really exciting because my students right now, what they want to do is they want to fast forward through my video lessons to do just the work part, and they're skipping over the lecture part. And so this is nice because they kind of have to listen in order to get the questions and to interact with the interactive part of the videos. So what it does is you can kind of put stoppers on the video and pause points where the video stops and asks your students an interactive question. Whether it's multiple choice or open-ended, your students cannot continue with the rest of the video until they've answered that question. Right now, without edpuzzle, what we are doing is we're just telling them on our recording, hey, pause this video right now and answer these questions in your read-or-write or notebook. This, however, is a tool that would really kind of ensure that this is actually happening. It's not just a gentle suggestion to students to pause the video, but it's actually going to make them do that, and it's interactive. They're not passively just watching a video, but they actually have to do something, which is really nice because one of the reasons we went over to hybrid teaching or hybrid flipped classroom teaching is to put more of the learning and the interaction into the hands of students so that it's not passive. So going forward, this could be used in almost any of our video lessons. It can be used to, when we're going over, for example, what we're going to do next is we're going to write a compare and contrast type essay. So what we're learning right now is how do you organize that, compare and contrast. And so we're using a feature by feature organization. And we've made a video that explains that and models that and works through the thinking, how to go from an organizational structure like an outline to start filling in the pieces of the outline. And it would be really nice to be able to stop at points where, we introduce new vocabulary to make sure that they understand when I say feature, what am I referring to? When I say compare, what am I referring to? When I say contrast, what am I talking about? And instead of just having them pause this video and write down the vocabulary, it would be more like the video pauses itself and asks a question that would then tell me if they understood the vocabulary, which to me would be so much more useful because now I know not just can they copy down vocabulary, but can they use it? Do they understand it in context? Can they identify it when I use it? And then I know whether this vocab has been assimilated into their learning and are they going to be able to use it and understand what I'm talking about if I use it when I give instructions going forward. I think it's also really useful when I have to stop and ask open-ended questions. We were talking about the book we're reading, The Giver, and asking, level 2 and level 3 questions. And I think if I were to actually pause the video and have them type that out to the video platform itself, I could get real-time feedback. I could see that they have to stop the video. They have to spend time on this. And it's not just right now. What they're doing is they've got their earphones in and they're watching the video. And then they're writing out their level 3 answers and their level 3 questions in their reader-writer notebook, which is great. And I'm going around and I can see that. But if it was interactive with the video, I feel like the video wouldn't seem so droning. It wouldn't feel like it's something that they just have to sit through, but it's something that they're interacting with. And I am really excited because now that we are transitioning to distance learning, right? That I'm going to be able to use this. Really, I'm going to be able to rely on this and to use this a lot more because I won't be in class. I won't be looking into their notebooks and walking around and interacting in that way. So if I have edpuzzle open and they're watching these videos and they're interacting with the videos and they're typing their answers, then I'm going to get real-time data from edpuzzle in the same way that I would if I was walking around in their journals and looking at what they were writing. So that's really exciting, and I'm excited to use that in this crazy kind of new way that we're having to teach here in the next few weeks. And I'm excited to see how students are going to interact with this. I think we don't want to overdo it with edpuzzle. I think you don't want to. I think it's going to be important for me to not make too many stops, to make sure that the places where I'm stopping the video to ask questions, it's intentionally done. And I think it's also important to make sure that it's not too predictable. Like every video doesn't stop and ask the same kind of questions, because it can start to get that droning feeling of the same thing again today that I did yesterday. And we all I don't want students to feel like they can put their work on autopilot and get it done, because that's the same thing they did yesterday and the day before and the day before. So it's important to mix it up in a sense to make that not happen. Again, for me, the most exciting part will be the ability to get some feedback. For me to get feedback on the questions that I'm asking them, to get some answers. But then for me, I'm going to be able to see things that they're doing at home, and I'm going to be able to go and say, hey, in the video, the second pause spot, I asked this question and you answered this way. I'll be able to give them feedback about, this part of your answer was insightful. I see how you were thinking this way. I might be able to give them some feedback, I think, through Google Classroom. I have to play with edpuzzle more. It wouldn't let me see how exactly to interact with students using the platform itself without actually loading my entire class into it and actually getting it going. So that was the one part about this resource that I found a little bit not great, was I can see its potential, but without actually loading up a whole class and trying it out, I can't really see exactly the mechanisms of how the feedback loop will work. But if it's not there, if it's not up to par with how to give feedback to students, I can always rely back on Google Classroom to do that. So there is my review of digital resources given by National University. And I'm very excited to try out edpuzzle and let y'all know how it went. Thanks.